Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of BlackInc.tv. My name is Tony Beaman, your host, and my mission is simply to inspire the next generation of Black entrepreneurs to just think bigger and go for it. That's about it, and that's something that my next guest has been doing for quite a while. Very, very, very impressed. He is the managing member of CashMap Consulting, LLC, and brings over 25 years as an executive in operations, finance, human resources, also an MBA from the University of Hawaii, Manoa, I believe it is. But you know what? He's got also a cash app that he has created, which is very, very interesting to me. I think everybody will find pretty interesting because what it simply does is it helps you pay off debt in half the time and boost your savings. We'll let him talk a little bit more about that. There's so much to get to, but I wanted to welcome our guest, Mr. Dennis Williams. Thank you for being on BlackInc.tv.
It's a pleasure to be here and pleasure in meeting you.
Thank you very much. Dennis, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Where'd you grow up, man? Where are you originally from, man?
Well, it's been quite the journey. I was actually born in New York City in Queens. My dad hated the cold, so when I was 4, he moved to the West Coast, and I kind of grew up through high school in just north of LA in Ventura. And around the time I graduated from high school, my dad said it was still too cold. So then he moved us to Hawaii, where I lived there for 27 years on the island of Kauai. Did my graduate school training, as you said, at University of Hawaii at Manoa. And got married. My 3 kids were born on Kauai, and so we actually still consider that home, but presently we live in Bellingham, Washington.
Awesome. Man, you've got a quite experience in the business and the corporate world. What inspired you to be on your journey? I mean, you've been an executive leader for a long time. What was some of your inspiration?
I think it's always been wanting to make a positive impact in people's lives. And that's always been my driving focus. And specifically, as I moved into management, I also learned the simplicity and beauty of managing as it relates to understanding that my key role as an executive is really focusing on developing my people personally and professionally, which in turn builds trust. It creates a great work environment. It increases productivity and enables folks to have fun. And that's kind of what I've done at every single place I've worked. And the improvement of the team it's always come through every time we've done it that way.
Man, I got to ask you, I mean, I myself have an MBA and everything. Just thinking about how, my own family, especially my mom and stuff, I mean, how important would you say, education, getting a degree and an advanced degree? I mean, was that something that was instilled into you growing up, and also, I mean, how big of an impact has that had on your career and on your business life?
Oh, it's been a really big deal. My father was a graduate of University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana. He graduated from there in 1957. In those days, there were only 100 African Americans that were there out of a campus of 26,000 people. My grandmother, who was in Tuskegee, Alabama, she ended up getting 2 PhDs and was a single mom. And so
the expectation has always been there.
Yeah, it's. I mean, with my own kids, my son's got his master's. He's in Hawaii now. I've got a daughter who double major English business, another daughter who's master's in accounting and has her CPA. And people ask them, "Gee, how did your parents get you to go to school?" And they basically said, "Well, they never told us we had to go. It's kind of like, that's what you do."
Absolutely.
And that's kind
Wow.
of how it was in my family's house. Is just what you do.
Exactly. You know, I mean, hey, I'm kind of raising my daughter the same way. You know, I think having that expectation from the beginning sets the road for everything on top of that.
Yep.
But let's
Yep.
get into to CashMap. You know, you got the CashMap app, you got the CashMap blueprint, you got the CashMap consulting. You know, I mean, let's go into that, man. I mean, what it is you're doing is pretty phenomenal.
Well, there's really two pieces to this puzzle. The first one is most people don't know how banks make their money. And it's phenomenal. They take our money that's sitting in our checking and savings account, use it as collateral to borrow up to 20 times. So all this talk about debt being bad, well, don't tell that to a banker. That's how they make their money. And then, of course, we're getting nothing. Second, and that doesn't have to be that way. The second challenge is when somebody can tell you the power of compounding being the 8th wonder of the world. Well, it sounds good, but people have a really hard time being able to visualize what that's going to look like. And so that's what CashMap addresses. It shows people how to use, I mean, number one, I'm very focused on the idea of minimizing risk, just like banks do. As I tell people, banks love to help you as long as you don't need them. The minute you need them, now you're a high risk prospect. But when you don't need them, they're there to lend you money because you're low risk. So the solutions that we create are all about low risk solutions, enabling you to put your money to work rather than letting it sit idle in a checking account. See the impact, and then take your cash plan, and you get to choose assumptions you use and see the impact it'll have over 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and how much better off you will be by using the same strategy the banks routinely and safely use to accelerate. As I tell people this, I help you to use more of your money so that you can keep more, save more, and achieve what's most important to you sooner than you ever thought possible.
Man, you know, what you're talking about fundamentally requires an incredible knowledge of money and finance. You know,
no, actually not.
I mean, for you to be able to create it, oh my goodness! But go ahead, keep going.
I mean, unfortunately, what we all learn, and I have to say, this isn't even taught to finance professionals. We're all used to learning things from the bank perspective rather than turning the table and looking at it from the perspective of what's best for us. And so, for example, I'll give you just one small little example. The secret sauce to this is called the average daily balance. It's how the bank pays us, and that's how they bill us. And we usually hear this all in context of our credit card bill. But that's not the only way to look at it. So, for example, if you could find a bank to pay you 20% interest on your money, and don't look too hard because it don't exist. If you could, I can tell you how you manage your money. You put your money in that checking account as early in the month as possible. Why? Because they're going to pay you based on the average daily balance, and you want to keep it as high as possible. And when would you pay your bills? You would schedule to pay your bills at the end of the very last minute because you wanted to keep the average high. That is the solution. That's the secret sauce of what we do with CashMap. Except we use a small line of credit in which we'll take, based on your spending, a chunk from that, small chunk,
Mhm.
and use it as an additional payment to that loan you want to get rid of. So when we do that, we're creating an effective interest rate of like 1.5% to 2%. Now, just imagine, what could you do with a loan at 1.5% to 2%? And what banker would give you a loan at 1.5% to 2%? But just by putting your money to work, you're creating it yourself. And the effect, somebody with this, let's say somebody had a $439,000 loan, 3.2%, 30-year, they only got $500 left after they pay their bills every month. The first year they could knock 19 months off the length of that loan, save $21,000 in interest, and the interest cost would only be about $130 to $140 for the year.
Wow, for the year.
For the year. Just by putting your money to work and modifying the dates that you pay your bills. This isn't rocket science. We just haven't been taught it. And why not? Banks aren't in the business of educating us.
So that would one be in effect cutting out the bank's revenue source by doing some of that?
Well, yes and no. It would certainly sound that way, right? But let's
if I'm the banker, it probably would.
But look, the banks are also interested in helping us invest our money. So healthy customers make healthy opportunities for the bank.
Yes, sir.
So I've actually met with some bankers and they've actually told me I'm right. But you know what they said? There's never been a revenue model that has happened for consumers. And even though you're right, we'd make more money. We're making good money now, so why take the risk? And then here's another side of it. People who have learned to do this, and actually you can go to my website and you'll see at the landing page a couple. And I was shocked when they told me, and I don't know why I was shocked. It improved their marriage like never before, because now they're on the same page financially. Yeah. They sit down once a month on the 28th when they pay their bills to see kind of the change in the improvement, and they call it Dentist Day.
Dentist Day. I love that.
Yeah. And they said it's so easy. It's just that we've not been taught how to do it.
So let me ask you, man, now what about the credit agency, Equifax, all them, Experian. Does this also come into play with them to help mitigate the risks for the banks and the other lending agencies and stuff? Does that kind of work together with your program?
My clients who have gone through this, their credit score went up. And why? Because just think about it. We take a small chunk off the line of credit, toss it at the loan we want to get rid of. Boom. That's going down. Then what's sitting on the line of credit, I'm taking my income, putting it all into the line of credit. Boom, the debt's going down. And I turn around and take another small chunk. And then again, the debt goes down. That's called managing your credit, and that's what they love. So it's great for me all the way around.
So it's going to work for individuals, it'll work for small businesses and everything else to help the Dun and Bradstreet, as well as the Experian, the TransUnions.
Yep. And to your point, small business, they go get a line of credit. What do most people do? The banks don't tell them this. They wait till the bank bills them to pay their interest cost for the previous month. Forget that. You go take that money as revenue comes in, immediately put it against that line of credit to minimize the average daily balance so that you're paying minimal interest costs to do what you want to do to grow your business.
Wow. Man.
It's amazingly simple, but the power of compounding just blows the thing up as far as its long-term impact.
Man, what are you what's on the horizon as far as like your mission? I mean, this you're obviously incredibly passionate, and this can affect the lives, marriages of a lot of people. Like what are you on the mission to do, man?
My mission is, I believe every American household should know how to do this. I just got off a call with a potential vendor in India, and I did it for them. And they said, "Oh, I never thought of this before." And we did a CashMap scenario using rupees. It's literally the banking system, by and large, uses the same processes. So the simple strategy about works internationally. It doesn't matter, but it's just changing our mindset.
Man, wow. I want to be very respectful of your time and stuff, but how can our listeners and our audience maybe learn more?
A couple of ways. You can visit my website at cashmapapp.com. You can go there. You can book an appointment to meet with me. You can also sign up for information sessions, or just sign up for the coaching program that I teach to walk people through how to apply this. I have a YouTube channel that I'd love people to go through and watch, over 30 videos as far as talking about the concept. And if you like it, please like the channel. And then download CashMap. It's on either Google Play as well as in the App Store. You can download it for free, and you can use it for 1 month for full functionality for $5. Plug in your numbers and see how much you can save.
I love it, man. Man, thank you so much for being here. I really, one of the things that I love, as I was like researching your stuff, that it really struck with me is, it's like, are you ready to retire early, pay off your loans, and tick items off your lifetime bucket list? Because that's what it's all about, man.
Yep, that's
it. I
it.
love it, man. Dennis, thank you so much for being here today on blackink.tv. We're going to put your links down there on down here on the bottom. My name's Tony Beaman. I'm going to put my LinkedIn profile link here at the bottom. Thank you very much for being a part of our audience today, blackink.tv. Dennis, thanks again, once again. Everybody have a great day.